All right, there we go. Facebook guys, namaste. God bless. How are all of you? Happy National Snuggle Day here on America's Mentor. It's that kind of night, man. It's that kind of night to just like I got like 10 pillows on my bed with like 5 comforters, and when I dive in, I literally sink in there, and Tori goes, "Where's Dad?" And Dad's in bed, man. He's covered. She kind of looks for the lump that's moving. But that's kind of like the only way to stay warm, man. I got the flannels on tonight. Not that they really work, but happy National Cuddle Day to whoever and whomever and whatever you're cuddling. Enjoy the night. Stay warm. It's about 8:15, man. I had this sitting here, and I wanted to bring it to you guys because we're hitting, what, January 6th, I think now? 7th? I have no idea. How does resolutions treat now, if you made them? To me, this was the catalyst of the Jerry start. You know, many moons ago, I would use January 1 as my benchmark to start the goals, and virtually got nothing from it back then. But it was a great learning experience. We're talking like 30 years ago. And 30 years ago, I know it shows my age, man. But 30 years ago was the start of a revolution. And it lasted about a decade. And back then, we're talking like the late 90s, you know, or I'm sorry, mid 90s on to the mid 2000s, early 2000s. The infomercial was key. And when I owned the bakery back then, to me, I'd be working days at a time, mainly at night, literally overnight, because I had to make the product for the following day. And shame on me, what I put in there was a little TV back then, and just to keep the sound going and to get me a visualization of the outside world. Infomercials back then were actually pretty damn good. I mean, you can buy hairspray in a can, man. They would sell you anything. They knew how to hook you in there. And that was the start of my so-called inspirational or transformational journey. I had purchased the Tony Robbins back in 94, I think it was, Personal Power. You know, I had all these tapes in it and everything, the old cassette tape. But it introduced me to a whole new kingdom. Not necessarily personal power, but understanding how the mind works. In his own way, mind you. It was more of a motivational kind of thing. I actually saw him live, had a chance to meet him. But it was a great learning experience. And I took a chance because infomercials back then, you know, you saw the product, but you really didn't want to buy it. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Maybe I'll do it. But there's another infomercial out there. There's another infomercial and a way to get that infomercial to work for you. It's called Scripture, honestly. People look at it and say, yeah, that's nice. You know, I don't really believe in it, but, you know, it's really nice. But honestly, to me, it was... I already knew it from my upbringing, and I mentioned to you guys here in America's Mentor, you know, Dad was a deacon. I was forced to listen to this shit all day long, but, you know, kind of ran away from it because the questions I was asking were true back then, but not true into the eyes of the believer who was showing me the so-called path. In other words, to me, it was a paradox. And to you guys, it's probably a paradox in a lot of ways. But when you realize the power that was in it, Mark 11:24, you will have anything you want. You don't need personal power. You need to believe in what you want. And Steve Harvey gave me a good system on doing that to help you guys. And I used it in the very beginning, and it started the process. But let me get to Mark 11:24. It said, therefore I say unto you, what things soever ye, that means you, meatball, ye desire when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them. It sounds so simple. It sounds nice. It's a great mantra to live by, but I just don't believe it. That's the infomercial kind of concept I'm talking about. If you can grasp what he was saying in 11:24 and understand that it's so true, because out of the quote box tonight, either sacrifice a few years or struggle for a lifetime. Sacrificing is what I've done for the past 30 years in this transformative journey that I characterize here on America's Mentor. And I love bringing these kind of sentiments to you guys, and for you guys to understand that these utterances of so-called inspirational words were not just utterances of people. They were telling you stories on how to achieve what you want. And it's a perfect example by you taking the chance. You can either sacrifice yourself, which I've done, which I love the process of learning how the mind works and on this journey, and typing in those goals or desires that you want to have, be, and do. And either sacrifice a few years, that's the problem. People don't want to do that. And I get it. You know, we're all busy. It's like journaling. People don't want to spend the time every day journaling, but that's a sacrifice you got to make. But I got a better way. I got a little secret. When ye pray, ye believe. That's what they're talking about. You have to, because praying is a form of begging. Sadly, it's characterized in Webster's as a form of begging. But most importantly, when you believe that it's already here, when you believe what you desire is already here, the love, the financial success, whatever you're desiring, inner peace. I had it all. I had everything I wanted on there and worked towards it all backwards until I realized I had to understand what Neville Goddard was trying to tell me many, many moons ago. He said, don't think of what you want. Don't think of what you want, but think from what you want. That's what they're talking about. Therefore I say unto you, what things soever ye desire, when ye pray, believe. You're thinking from it. In other words, you're believing in it. And you're sending those vibrations out every day. That was the backwards. They always say, especially in The Secret, think of what you want, put it, vision boards, this and that. But the point is, how do you get there? How do you get to that point of thinking from it? Where you actually, because visualization to me is almost impossible. My mind is always running at 24/7 in a good way, mind you. But what I am an expert at is feeling it and putting myself in the state of already having it. This is what they're talking about in 1124. And this is what Neville's talking about. Don't think of what you want, because when you're thinking of it, you're thinking that it's not here. Hence, praying for something. You're begging for it. You're telling the universe you don't have it. So the universe can only give you more of what? Not having it. These are the little secrets that they didn't tell us. These are the guideposts to bring you whatever you desire. You think from it. In other words, if you guys can visualize that life that you want in perfect little detail, you start attaching some feelings to that and some emotions to that, even journaling it, which I'm going to explain what Steve Harvey said, you're going to create the most beautiful things in your life. But it all starts with the belief that you can have it. It all starts with you thinking from it as already having it. And this is what they're talking about in 1122. You're already believing it is knowing that it's here. And a lot of us already do that. We already know that we're already in debt. We already know that we're not loved. We already know. Does that make sense? We just keep remanifesting what we already know. It doesn't have to be true. It really doesn't. But it's your belief in yourself. You just can only manifest what you are. So if you think you are a loser, God bless you. You will continue on bringing those losing fragments into your life. If you think you are a success in what you're doing, you're going to bring more opportunities from that. But the question lies, how do I attain it? How can I bring it to Jerry's fruition, as they say? And what I did, and I do this every day, mind you, but a lot of people don't do that, but I got a way of doing it that you guys can literally understand. And it worked for Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey, this was a school failure, per se. He was a so-called ghetto statistic back then. He had the same problem I did. He couldn't speak. You had a National Share Day when he was a kid at school. And everybody went up there and they had their little paper, what they wanted to have, be, and do in life. And teacher would say, "Oh, that's fantastic, good for you, little man." But when Steve Harvey walked up there, he wrote down, "I want to be on TV." And the teacher right there and then said, and granted, mind you, it took him like 10 minutes to say because he was stuttering so badly. The guy couldn't speak. He had to teach himself how to talk later on in life. But he walked up there and he said, I want to be on TV all the time. I want to be on TV. And the teacher goes, you can't do that. Nobody from this area has ever been that kind of success. And she literally belittled him in class. And what does he do? He goes home crying to his mom. She tells him the same thing. But Steve Harvey's dad gave him a secret. He goes, you take that paper that you had today, and you save that paper. What Steve did, he wrote down, he redid it, and I want to be a basketball player. Okay, just to fit in with that. But he kept the original paper. His dad goes, let me see the paper. And Dad looked at him, he says, okay, you got a deal. All you got to do is put this in your drawer. Every day when you open the drawer to grab your garments, you look at it. Put it back in your drawer. Before you go to bed at night, when you change your clothes, take it out of your drawer. Look at it. What was Steve Harvey's dad telling him to do? And mind you, this was an illiterate soul, his dad, and telling his son probably the best secrets to attain anything he wanted. And all Steve did every single day was twice a day, he looked at all of his goals every day. And when I saw in a reel, what he told in that reel was quite astounding. He said, write down 300 things that you want. Spend an hour and write down 300 things that you desire in this life to happen. Financial abundance, peace, money in the bank, love of your life, and write it down in the greatest detail. And basically, what I do is I use the books that I journal in. And I journal my life every day, how I want it to have, be, and do. What Steve is telling you is write down these desires. Anything. 300 of them. Figure out 300 things. Donate to charity. Travel the world. Put it somewhere where you're going to look at it every morning the minute you wake up. And then before you go to bed, look at it again. And every time you look at it, try to feel or visualize you having that already. And you do that every day. This is a sacrifice I'm talking about. This is all Steve did. He looked at that piece of paper. He just made it bigger by adding the 300 things that he did in life. And he attained all that. But most importantly, what did Steve do? He's now on television 7 days a week. He didn't prove to anybody. And matter of fact, until his teacher passed away years ago, he sent her a television for Christmas every year for like 20 years because he wanted to remind her not to do that to people. And not in a bad way. He was doing it in more of a funny way. He was a comedian. But really, really think about what he just said. To help you believe in what you want, you have to keep telling yourself who you are. And it's a powerful yet simple way of journaling just once what you desire. You can put it on a vision board, or if you like your privacy, put it in a journal and just look at it every day when you get up and when you go to bed. And I can guarantee you, if you go back a year later and you start checking off what you attained on there in some facet and realize that you did this not intentionally, but you started believing in it, you started feeling in it, you started observing it, visualizing it, for those of you who can do it, and you actualized it. This is the power of what Mark 11:24 was telling us. He says, therefore I say unto you, what things soever ye desire. What they're saying, write it down. Okay, fine. When you pray, when you think about it all day long, believe that it's already here. This is the metaphysical realm of thinking of life. What's with the Italian thing, Jer? This is the metaphysical realm of thinking of life. This is you taking life by the balls, saying, wow, this is what I truly desire. But you have to do it continuously. That's the sacrifice. And to me, 30 years has been an amazing journey of ups and downs, but learning who I was and fixing the so-called flaws of thinking that I was. And we all have to go through it. We all have to understand who we truly are. But the problem is we've been conditioned to believe who we are not. You can't have that. You can't get that. You can't attain that. Nobody in this family's ever had something like that. Does that make sense? A lot of us has, I mean, myself included, I've had to deal with that all my life. You know, nobody's ever reached that realm of success that you're looking to have, be, and do. I get it. I get it. It's their own conditioning, but it doesn't have to be your conditioning. By you looking at your desires every day, not once, but twice, feeling it, visualizing it, thinking from it as it's already here, you're going to start manifesting it, whether in little synchronicities or even the full, how should we say, outcome of that. This is the beauty of what they were telling us in Scripture, but nobody seemed to believe it. They thought it was an infomercial. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool, but I don't know. I don't trust it. I don't get it. Does all of this kind of attach to the old brain cells, and for you guys to realize how simple life can be? But you have to take control of it and stop letting the outside world dictate your outcome. You start dictating your friggin' outcome by who and what you believe in. How do you start the process? Repetition. A lot of teachers ask me this question: how do I change myself? I said, you're already a teacher. The biggest facet of teaching is repetition. This is the same thing. All you're doing is attaching what is truly you in it, looking at it all the time, believing in it, taking inspired action from thinking about it, because you're going to have these little synchronicities that are going to kick in and say, wow, I can do that, I can do this. And you're going to start attaching all these different energies and emotions to it in a positive way. Therefore, you're going to start manifesting that. That's the beauty of life. That's the secret of life. I just want to thank the late Neville Goddard for helping me understand that this start of the process was just a preamble to the future of where I'm living right now. But you gotta sacrifice. If you can't journal every day, I get it. We're all busy. To me, I mean, this is my life. I love doing it because I like to share what's going on from it and really inspire people. But you don't have to do it every day. But all you need to do is remind yourself every day where you're going. Get out of the reality that reality is trying to take you into, and create your own reality through your imagination. Einstein spoke of it. They all spoke of it. All the deceased notables encouraged us to live from within and not from without, because living from out there was going to get you in a lot of trouble. I had to learn the hard way. A lot of us have to learn the hard way and still learning. But realize we all have something to give. We all have this gift in life to bring to life, but it takes repetition to do it. It takes a daily process, a sacrifice of a couple years of your life of just thinking, being, acting, doing, and it gets addicting. Believe me when I tell you. Guys, really, really think about it for yourself. And I'll say that quote for you one more time. I'll let you enjoy your Monday. It's National Cuddle Up Day with your pillow or soulmate or animal or dog, or which is even better. Enjoy your night, guys. Either sacrifice a few years or struggle for a lifetime. That's the question you got to ask yourself. Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? Are you sick and tired of always recreating what you don't want? It's your way of thinking. You got to understand, when you truly believe whether it's good for you or bad for you, you're going to manifest it for you. Life doesn't happen for us. It happens from us. And when you can grasp that from us mentality, meaning I'm the power, I'm the creator, I'm the one who believes in myself, I create my world, and your life is going to change, man. So guys, enjoy your Monday, guys. America's Mentor _radio on Instagram, at America's Mentor on Twitter, guys. But guys, I've been keeping my YouTube channel really quiet, but ever since the shorts, I've been introducing the shorts on there. It's really taken off. I got 610 videos on YouTube. So please find me, America's Mentor, on YouTube, guys. You'll have every one of these Facebook Live shows on there for you if you want to go back and do some research and see how I've grown from there as living proof from when I started to where I am now and to where I'm going. You could have that same outcome in your life, but it takes repetition, consistency, dedication, and most importantly, the belief in yourself, guys. So happy Monday, guys. I'll talk to you guys soon, man.